What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I am Mr. Straight Facts. So let's get into it today. By those who I wasn't here earlier this week may not have known, I had a procedure. I got it done. Everything's good as far as I know. I know some results in the next couple of weeks. Just to let you know, everything's good. Everything's good. I just couldn't do the show earlier this week. All right. So let's get into it. Speaker Mike Johnson is still holding off on the representative Adelita, I think it's Grijalva. Hopefully I got that right. And basically, as Michael Steele says on MSNBC, free Epstein, free 218. What's it? Free Epstein 218. That's what he said. That's his thing. Free Epstein 218. That should be the 218th person to make it pass so they can release these files. Still free Epstein, free Epstein, free Epstein files. Not Epstein himself. Of course, he's dead. But we need to release those files and find out what's in them. I personally believe Donald Trump's almost in every page the way they act. They got this man like and covered with like, and they know they're breaking the laws. They know. Every last one of these people know. And the telltale sign to me is, the person that was in there that they just brought in as an assistant to one of the FBI agents, whatever. I forget his name. I always forget his name. But he was the one who was so vivid about, hey, we need to get those Epstein files when he thought it was all Democrats. When he thought it was all Democrats, he literally thought, hey, they got to get those files. Now, I know Kaka Kash Patel is doing his best to hide it. They had some little, like, I guess, press conference. I don't understand how the FBI and the DOJ and Donald Trump are going on a world tour, I guess a White House tour, to a press conference telling them what they're doing. When's the last time? Did you ever see the FBI or the head of the DOJ under any other fucking other president going out and doing press conferences? Have you ever seen that shit? No, because he's weaponized the government. He's weaponized the DOJ. He's weaponized the FBI. These people are in the news more than most senators. And they're supposed to be representing the people. Pam Bondi is in the news almost every other day. She's going out and doing things that just aren't right. And luckily the news is saying stuff about it. To be putting people on cases that don't deserve to be in a jury at all. No judge should actually be even entertaining this shit. Because again, no learned prosecutor would charge these people. Not one whatsoever. And that's why you have all these learned prosecutors who either quit. And the thing that's crazy about it, they were Republicans. This is one thing I also got to tell MAGA. You think he's always trying to get liberals, right? But you guys don't even recognize that your own MAGA, right? These are your own MAGA minions. These dudes were the ones that were so hard up for Donald Trump, they were willing to break rules to get their position. Rules. But when it came to them having to break laws, they're like, oh, fuck that. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing it. And then Donald Trump doesn't respect the fact that these prosecutors will not break the law. They would break rules for him, but not the law. Then they kick their asses out, force them out. But they were MAGA all the way. Up until you asked them to break the law. What do you think that means for you, MAGA? For you MAGAs who aren't empowered? For you MAGAs who don't have any kind of say-so whatsoever in the government? For you MAGAs that are farmers? For you MAGAs that are business people that have to pay these tariffs, and you know you do if you're in a business. Otherwise, you're just as bad as a business person as Donald Trump is. Because I can tell you right now, I'm doing a little business on the side through China, trying to get some was like these fitness watches, because I can't stand the fitness watches that I have. The one that I got, the Fit whatever, died. Haven't had it in that long at all. So I'm already on this myself for my own personal reasons, and I got to pay tariffs to bring it into the country. So I don't understand how you don't understand that you got to pay tariffs on it. I really, they put it in as a certain tax or some shit like that. But where I'm going through, they literally say tariff. But if you go through some of these websites, it just shows you a tax or an additional fee that may be like a tenth of what it is, right? That's what it is, the tariffs. So they're pulling money out of our pockets to pay down. They say pay down the debt. But here's the thing: if rich people paid their fair share, they wouldn't have to tax us through tariffs. It's crazy to me how people don't recognize we're in a massive amount of debt, this country, $37 trillion. Donald Trump, by himself, the first time around, put on $7 trillion of that, more than any other president in American fucking history. He's going to do that probably double or triple by the time he's over in this 4 years. We'll probably end up owing $100 trillion with this fool. Why? Because this man is causing tariffs, and what's going to happen to us? That's going to devalue the dollar. Something that tells me he's trying to crash the economy. I don't know why, but something tells me he is. I don't have any real say-so in it. I can't say that that's the truth, but I can just say that I don't understand how you get an economy that's going up and that you can shift things to make it go up even faster. But instead you came in and you created chaos. You created turmoil. You created businesses not knowing what the fuck you're doing. So we had a massive drop. And now he's created these tariffs. The only people making money in this are the rich. So tell me, MAGA, how in the hell does he care about you? You want to pay down the debt, but that's going to cost you your farms. That's going to cost you more taxes. That's going to cost you your family not eating. That's going to cost you insurance. That's going to cost you all kinds of shit where you're going to go broke. The rich, you can see. You see how the stock is going like this? The stock was going like this. I don't know what today's date that the stock went today. I didn't see the closing, but it's been going up. And you wonder, how can stock be going up and the economy going down? Because they're buying a lot of stock in AI and the promise of the future. They're also buying a lot of gold because they're worried that this country is going to crash like 1929. When you see people buy gold like crazy, especially rich people, oh yeah, be very afraid. Because if we don't crash, they are betting on it will. That's why they're buying it like crazy. Go look up any stock book. Go look up any person that you listen to stocks. I don't care who that person may be, if he's conservative, liberal, or just only about capitalism. Go listen to what they have to say. Almost every one of them is talking about they're buying gold. And there's a telltale sign. When you start buying a shit ton of gold, you're worried about the dollar crashing. And I'm just saying, you need to go check that out. Don't believe me. Go do your homework. But that's just my version of what I see and have heard from these investors. There's a renowned investor. He just wrote a book, 1929. Top of my head, I can't remember his name right now. But it's out now. I didn't get a chance to read it. I just seen him going on his tour for his book. And he's like, yes, there's going to be a crash. It just depends on when. So for people who don't have money in the stock market, that will affect you still, even though you have money in the stock market, because then everything starts to cost more. Nobody has money, and therefore jobs will be lost. Businesses will close down. And if it gets worse than the 20s, famine would happen. So I always tell people, don't think that this shit won't happen to us. It can happen to us. It's already happened to us once. If you don't know, you remember your history or don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. With Donald Trump and these rich people, I keep on bringing back that at the inauguration, billionaires were sitting behind Donald Trump, not governors, not people who care about the people. Usually governors are there because they represent the people. These billionaires were representing their pocketbooks. And Donald Trump is a person who literally just wants people to give him accolades and money for nothing. So we should have gave you a hint that when billionaires were sitting behind where elected officials are supposed to be at, that the billionaires became before the people. I mean, it's just that simple. All right. Oh yeah. Some people were asking me, was I? Well, I was out. Yes, I was. I was out. I was. I got a procedure that older people get. So you get like results later and things of that nature for. So far I'm good. In about 2 weeks we'll know if I'm great. But anyway, but no alarm. Just keep prayers for positive results. That's all I care about. So anyway, getting back to it, if we don't wake up, America, we're in trouble. Now they got this No Kings protest. Now, if you're not a person who walks a lot or gets out a lot, I don't suggest you do it. But if you can get out, I would go in your particular neighborhood. You ain't got to fly nowhere. They got them all over your neighborhood. You just be with neighbors and so forth. You can be able to go and support. It's going to be just a showing of how Americans are sick and tired of people trying to put a king into place. And I understand in my community, a lot of people's like, I ain't going out there. They're trying to get us out there. They're trying to sucker us. I get it. I get it. Depends on what community you live in. Depends on the police coverage. If you live in like a nice area or in the area that, that is lower crime, whatever, you might be able to go other places where police officers will probably be out in droves because they think of it as a more higher crime area. I would suggest that you be careful because again, what's becoming like what black people have always said, that police officers, that they're not all good. I'm one of those people who say I don't believe in there being a few bad apples. I think there are a few good apples. There's a lot of bad apples because my personal belief and experience in my life, I can't talk about anybody else's experience. I can only talk about my experience. I've had more bad officers than good. I've had more asshole officers than good. So telling a black man who's had more bad officers than good that there's a few bad apples, I tell you it's the opposite. Because I've had a good officer and a bad officer at the exact same time. And the bad officer won, the good officer kept quiet. The one who kept quiet to me was just as bad as the other. He saw the injustice, but he sat there and watched me go through the injustice. Not a word came out of his mouth, and he was a black man. Yes. So when we talk about these things, I don't trust to say that there's more good than bad. Because if you won't open your mouth and say shit about the bad, you're just as bad as whatever, the bad ones. If you think you good and your family say you good and you go to work and you ain't never had a complaint, you bad. Because there ain't no way in hell you telling me you went to work and came home and never saw an officer pull over a person of color just because they were of color. You can't tell me that didn't happen. And somebody tell me I've been a police officer for 20 years and never seen no shit. Man, shut the fuck up. You have. You just don't say nothing about it. And you got jaded to the point where it's justified. So you became a part of the gang instead of ratting the gang out. That's just my experience from seeing it. And I've had even friends and family members be officers. Still don't trust them when they got their suit on. I'm going to tell you 100. They put their suit on, they ain't my friend. Not at all. They are not my friend. They're an officer, and they have a whole different other code once they put on that shit. They act different. They get braver. I've seen it. My friend is going, put it on his clothes, ready to go outside. He's an asshole. I'm like, dude, what? You done switched just from putting on an outfit. You're wearing a uniform like a cheerleader, and you just walked out of the house looking like you like you came from what is it called, like a Western movie. Like you just walking out, head all, I'm like, got your chest stuck out. I'm like, nigga, put your chest back down. Fuck you think you are? But I guess you got to pump up your chest to walk out there, because there's some crime out there. Don't get me wrong, but don't treat everybody like a criminal. That's my experience. I can't tell nobody what your experience. If you had great experience with officers and you say they're more good than bad, I believe you. That's your experience. I believe you. That's your experience, not mine. Not mine. But getting back, I go off the tangent when I talk about stuff like that. But anyway, we're gonna get back to it. The MAGA people understand you are not safe. If you don't have any money to be able to buy your way out or whatever the hell you get yourself into. And what I say get yourself into, I ain't saying like you getting yourself into any crime. I'm talking about when you decide like, wait a minute, this shit isn't right. Donald Trump, this is not right. Like I would say to Joe Rogan, you might want to slow your roll, bro. You out there trying to be all on our side now. Donald Trump, you was like this with Donald Trump. Don't get pulled over for something stupid. And Trump has got some kind of police force in the in California. He has no loyalty for nobody, bro. Y'all have loyalty for him. I seen Joe Rogan, or at least I heard I saw him on his podcast, but it was just an excerpt. I don't watch people's podcasts that flippy floppy type people. Nah, I don't like that. But I watch like clips of it. So Joe Rogan's all out talking about, it's wrong to think that, that they can just go up and pull up and pull up a Latin person off the street because they're Latin or immigrant because they're immigrant. I thought there's going to get people who were breaking laws and stuff like that. I thought they're going to get the gang. Like if there's a bunch of gang members out there doing some crazy stuff and they weren't American citizens, yeah, you can go ahead and take them up and deport them. And I said, and in my head, I'm like, even then, there's due process, you dipshit. Even then, and I always ask this question of people who really thought in their head, this is what I understand. Black people and good people of all races and colors, but I'm speaking like the black people because 92% of them, the women, voted for the right thing, and about 80% of black men voted. We voted in the highest numbers for the right thing, other than Donald Trump. How is it that people could not see that Donald Trump was saying it? If I said to you, I'm about to slap the taste out your mouth, and I rear back my hand, and you stay in the same place, how the fuck are you staying there when my hand is all cocked back, about to slap the taste out your mouth and saying I'm about to do it? But you sit there and think, ain't gonna happen. Bow. All these fronts just gone. And I'm like, I told you. Now, black people, why is it that we saw it that clear? We saw it, he gonna take your freedoms away. We saw it clear as day. It wasn't like we was on some fucking ball, like, all I can see it. We didn't have that shit. We just have fucking common sense. If somebody tell you they're gonna do something, why in the fuck are you trying to translate stupid? He literally said this shit was gonna happen. Everything he said he's gonna do, he's doing. I am your retribution. This man is going after people for no other apparent reason than they went after him for breaking the laws. Donald Trump literally broke laws. There was evidence to prove it, and 34 of them by people of his peers. Not no fucking, they couldn't put nobody on the case, on the trial, or a jury that was just all Democrat liberals. No. His actual defense attorneys had to say yay and nay. Don't want that one, don't want that one, don't want that one. Want that one, want that one. Jury of his peers lost 34 counts guilty for actually breaking the law. Then he started talking about retribution, putting him through this like he didn't deserve to be this in court for breaking the laws because of what? He was white and he had money. Those are the only reasons. Tell me, poor white people, how the fuck you feel that a rich white man said he doesn't deserve to go to jail or anything like that because he's rich and white? You poor and white and sitting your ass in jail right the fuck now. And you think he got your back? He's firing white people left and right that won't bow to him. This is insane that you literally would think this man's got your back. He won't even have the back of men and women who have risked everything for him. People he elected or gave the job, not elected, but people he hired. He fired them because they would not break the law. Now I understand a lot of people, black, white, Latin, good people, saw it coming. And I understand that I've said many times that the Republican Party is filled with racist, sexist, xenophobic, homophobic people that don't like anybody else but white people. I done said it. We done seen too many signs of it. Jews do not replace us. They killed a white girl. Didn't give two shits about killing that white girl, running her over, because this was all about Jews do not replace us and fuck black people. You had Republicans literally saying there's good people on both sides. Well, good people didn't kill nobody, but the Republicans did. That it was one girl, a white girl, killed because she was on the side of black people and Jewish people. A white supremacist, racist white boy ran her ass over and killed her in the name of white power. And Donald Trump comes out as good on both sides. Well, what happened to the bad one? They killed somebody, because on the other side, where y'all call Antifa, they didn't kill a soul. Matter of fact, they was one getting beat up by your same white boys, until they turn around and beat the shit out of some of your white boys because they got jumped by you. Who started it? The racist white boys started it. Who finished it? Antifa, what you call Antifa. And then all of a sudden there's a gang called Antifa. No, there are people who say, and this is what kills me, they turn a gang into an actual, like from an actual term. Antifa is only short for anti-fascist. There's no gang, there's no affiliation, there's no building, but it doesn't matter. Truth does not matter. Antifa is something that they can scream, that these idiots can remember. Antifa, 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 over and over again. And you ask them, where's an Antifa? What does it look like? What are their signs? What do their tattoos look like? I mean, what's their insignia? What kind of clothing do they wear? You can't answer any of this shit because there is none. Imaginary people, Antifa. Every person in this damn country should be anti-fascist. Because what? Because we're a democracy. And fascists will destroy democracies. So do we love America or do we love Russia? Do we love America or do we love another dictatorship? What does America stand for? Because it should stand for democracy, and we should be anti-fascist. So they've turned the actual gang, which is white supremacy, white nationalists, that's the actual gang. They got insignias, they got hand signals, they got tattoos, they got uniforms with the hood, they got all this shit. That's an actual gang. White supremacy is an actual gang. That's where you can go to somebody's house and, hello? You can't go to no, where's Antifa at? All of us are Antifa. Who the fuck you talking about who Antifa? We ain't got no gang signs. We ain't got nothing. Everybody who doesn't like fascism is anti-fascist. Just like anybody who doesn't like racism is anti-racist. Anybody who doesn't like, being xenophobic, they're anti-xenophobic. How the hell do you turn something, we're against something, anti-fascist is patriotic. And you turn a patriotic idea or even thought process into a gang, but then you protect white supremacy, which actually is a gang out here harming people, out here killing people, out here shooting people in the head with rubber bullets, a pastor no less, and you want to talk about a gang being this imaginary Antifa, but don't say that the gang is not our ICE department who is filled with racists. There's no way a human being can put on an outfit, being of color or any other, and put on an ICE uniform now and not say that these people aren't racist as fuck. They're going around grabbing people just because these people make it harder for them to arrest people whom they shouldn't be arresting because they don't have a warrant to arrest them. They're out here breaking laws, and anybody that protested is a terrorist, but you're going out here attacking American citizens. I don't know if you guys saw this video of I guess it was ICE agents, right? And they were coming to get somebody. And this, I guess they ended up getting the person, whatever. This lady is just driving by. And because she yelled out or something, supposedly, this is what they said, she yelled out something to them. They not only ran beside her, they ran into her vehicle, made her run into another car like she couldn't go any further, tore her car up on the side, came out of the car, weapon drawn, pointed at citizens, American citizens, making you think that the woman they're taking out of that car was an immigrant and they was going to snatch her. No, she was an American citizen. They snatched her up. You see how they drug her out of the car? Feet first, meaning her body had to hit the fucking concrete like bow. And head, didn't give two shits about it. See that right there? That's a gang. That's a terrorist group. Not some fake ass Antifa. If you don't believe by now that the reason why these people are covering their faces is because you can find them at January 6th. They ain't do nothing but hire these Proud Boys. They ain't do nothing but hire these racist groups that they had there. They let them go so they can make them the police force. They'll break the laws. These regular ICE agents wouldn't break the laws like they're breaking them. The ones that was here before, the ones that were under Bush, the ones that was under Biden, the one that was under Obama, they wouldn't do this shit. You understand that this organization has been taken under Obama, millions of people were deported. Did you have one of these sightings where somebody literally took somebody out of their car and slammed them? They had warrants. They did it the legal way. They didn't go snatching people in the dark or at a coffee shop, at their jobs, outside of Home Depot trying to get a job. They didn't snatch nobody like that. Because doing that shit, you don't have a warrant. Because how did you know the Latin person that you needed the warrant was there? And not at the residence that he claims to be living at. How did you know exactly where he was at? You didn't. You went and snatched up people just because you thought automatically if they're getting a job like this, they must be illegal. But even when you're legal, those jobs are a situation where you can only get sometimes until you can move up. So it's a stereotype to believe that every time you see a Latin person doing a low-wage job, somehow they possibly could be. In our Supreme Court, they keep giving this man, Donald Trump and his minions, free reign to terrorize American citizens. I promise you, it is every day I wake up and pray that they get their up and comings. I pray that each one of them, once out of power, is thrown behind bars. There is no way in hell that America should be standing by and be like, oh, okay, once they're out of office, we just keep it moving. No. Every last one of these people that has broken the law should be taken to court and if found guilty, thrown behind bars. Even Donald Trump. There is no way in hell that this country can survive by allowing certain groups of people to break the laws, especially the ones that I've always been raised up to believe. To whom is given more power than others, you have more responsibility to follow the laws than a person who don't know the laws. If you know the laws, which the House, the Senate, the President, the Supreme Court Justice, they know the laws in and out. If you know the laws, then you should be heightened. You should have a heightened sense of not breaking them. But instead, you're breaking them even though you know them. You're the one that should be held more accountable. You're the one that should go to jail for 20 years as opposed to somebody who doesn't know the laws should go there for 5. You knew the law and you broke it anyway. Yeah. All these ICE agents, they know the law, but you're breaking it anyway. Terrorizing American citizens. How would you feel, ICE agents, if somebody came to your house and did that to your wife or to your daughter or to your mother or to your brother? You would hate it. But you wake up every day having no fucking problem doing it to somebody else's family members. Why is that? It's not your job. Your job is ascertain them, not to terrorize them. You're terrorizing them. That's something different. It didn't happen before. There's a special hate inside these people. And there's a certain hate in this country that's allowing that shit. And so when you look at this every day, don't ever fix your lips to tell me this is not a racist fucking country. Don't fix it. Don't fix your lips to say America's not a racist country. Turn on your TV. If that ain't racism, what the fuck is it? Don't fix your lips to say that shit. I'm getting sick of white people telling us what the fuck racism is. You don't know what the fuck it is if you ain't looking out your window, if you ain't looking out on every fucking television and seeing that that is racism. They're not doing it to white people. Instead, they're allowing white criminals to come here and get property. What? Southern, was that? White Africans? South Africans? One of those dudes was a criminal. Did you hear them say anything about that once you found out one of them was a criminal? No. You brought in white people and have told other white people that they can escape from their colored country to a country like this. They're doing the same thing that they did before. Immigrate more white people so therefore they can have more power and make it a white country. Promising these people that it's going to be more like a white country. These people they're bringing in are just as racist as they are. These white South Africans are racist as fuck. They're bringing them to the country. But good people of all races coming to this country to make this country a better place is something they don't want to see. They'd rather see racist white people come into this country and start fucking shit up. I want to even prove even more about what I'm saying, right? Because a lot of people would sit here and tell you that, you're just mad or whatever. I saw some crazy person say, you're just mad, black guy, blah, blah, blah. No, I am pissed off at this country for saying one thing. Saying this isn't a racist country. That's the thing where again, I'm saying keep it a buck. And I don't care who you are, Republican, Democrat, all that. I love me some Kamala Harris. But when she was asked the question, is this a racist country? And she said no, I was hella pissed. Because she knows it is. They knew it was. Anybody asking that question knows the fucking answer. It's a gotcha question because racists don't want to be called racist. They just want to be called, no, I'm not racist. I'm just race averse. I'm not racist. I just believe in, that black people commit more crime. I'm not racist, though. They don't want to hear that part. They don't want to ever be called one. But they want to do the racist acts, but don't be called a racist. I'm sorry. You're racist. Anybody, when they say, you don't think all Republicans that voted for Donald Trump are racist? I do. I 100% do. I'm going to tell you 100%. I believe all Republicans that voted for Donald Trump are 100% racist. Why? Because they ain't said shit about getting out immigrants that are Canadian. They ain't said shit about getting out immigrants in none of their speeches. It's running for president. None of it. They've only talked about brown and black immigrants. They've never talked about white immigrants being pushed out of this country. Every last Republican that voted for Donald Trump knew that they were going after people of color and not white people. So don't give me this shit. You're not racist. You're fucking racist. Accept the shit. Now this political bullshit and it's all this like, oh, I don't want to be, politically correct. Fuck all that. Fuck all that politically correct shit. And fuck all telling me you ain't no racist. You are. Because you literally had no problem with them snatching Latin, black, and people of color out of this country and immigrating, bringing in white people. I didn't hear one Republican say, why are we bringing these South Africans here? They're immigrants. We don't want them either. I didn't hear one Republican say that. Now, did they say it? They could have. I never heard it. So don't tell me you're not racist when you fall in line with racists. I'm tired of this shit. Everybody's always trying to be politically correct about it. You see it on the news, and you're like, yeah, they're racist. And they sit there and go, well, I'm not really saying that. Shut up. At that point, you done lost all integrity. Because your honesty is somewhere else. It ain't in that moment. Scott Jennings, racist as fuck. Sit around there talking to black people, people of color, and always got this weird disdain on his face like anybody of color that goes against him, something's wrong with you. Like you stink or some shit. Something's wrong. You're just stupid. This dude is dumb as a brick. Telling everybody else what he thinks he knows. And none of his shit ever checks out. None of his shit checks out factually. It's a bunch of garbage. Go check it out. Listen to what he has to say. And these people have canned ideas on whenever somebody, a Republican, does something wrong, they got one other Democrat somewhere in we ain't never heard of. Well, there's a guy named Jay something. Who? Jay what? Jay. What Jay do? Nobody knows. They'll bring up some crackhead Democrat in a racist fucking state and be like, oh, that Democrat did it. I'm like, ain't nobody giving a fuck about that Democrat. The fuck are you talking about? That dude, he running for something. He ain't nobody just yet. Go tell the people don't vote for him. That's cool. But he doesn't have a position yet. You bring up somebody who doesn't have a position to go against, mind you, you guys have seen it probably, a bunch of young Republicans who had a racist. They can't even say racist chats. I want you to see. This is why I can't stand this country, because they will never admit it's racist. When something is so blatantly racist as this chat, blatantly racist, sexist, and they can't even call it that. They call this offensive chats. Offensive? Offensive is me looking at you and say, your mama fat, because you fat. That's offensive. Right? That's offensive. But to call somebody, the N-word, and call somebody all these extra, I can't wait till people burn. I love Hitler. That is not offensive. It's highly racist. Sexist. Listen, I don't have all of the things they said, but here's a chart. I don't believe I got it from Politico. I think it was. I got it off their site. Let's see if we can get it up here. Look at this. Come look at this. Kevin Hart. That's Kevin Hart. I love Hitler. Leaked messages exposed young Republicans' racist chat. Politico called it racist. Newsweek called it offensive. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. That's Hitler. We are official under consideration for a Trump endorsement as well. When do we bring the side out? I don't know what this is. It's like really kind of small for me. This girl is fully, arted. He also hates the Jews. It was rape. Boom, they're dead. Talking about killing people. They love the watermelon people. That's me. I'm a watermelon people. That's what they call me. Mm-hmm. These are Republicans. And you know what's so trip? They call them young Republicans. They're like the ones coming up, the leaders that are coming up. Some of them have positions. Some of them are I guess mentors or the people in office right now, like J.D. Vance, Donald Trump. All those people have endorsed these young Republicans, and they're bringing them up. These are the people that's coming up after the ones that we have in there right now. The old Republicans, these are the ones being trained to be the new Republicans once these older ones have left. Once the Mitch McConnells are gone, these are the ones being prepped to come on and be the replacement. The replacement is filled with racists, xenophobic, filled with it. These is 2,900 of these types of texts. Not 29, 2,900. And they're gonna sit here and say like, "Oh well, we're sorry." They didn't even say they were sorry. It was like the young Republican leadership came out with a tweet or text or whatever the fuck it was. I'll show that in a second. But they call black people monkeys. Said kicked or whatever. And it's not all boys. I know at least one girl said something to the effect that she basically start burning people. I can't wait till we start burning people. Okay. I'm ready to watch people burn now. That was a woman who said that. Great, I love Hitler. White guy in power who said that. Right? All these, 2,900. This is just a small sampling of them. But as one guy said the N-word multiple ways. And then within these tweets, or it was on Telegram, on what they call Telegram. Within these messages on Telegram, they are highly aware that if this ever gets out, they're in trouble. And somehow it got out. Politico, I think it was Politico who broke the exclusive. Okay? So, the young Republicans put out a tweet. I'm guessing it's a tweet. That's what it looks like. Let's see what they had to say. And that is, we are appalled, the young Republicans, by the vile and inexcusable language revealed in the Politico article published today. Such behavior is disgraceful, unbecoming of any Republican, and stands in direct opposition to the values our movement represents. Those involved must immediately resign from all the positions within their state and local young Republican organizations. We must hold ourselves to the highest standards of integrity, respect, and professionalism. Board of Directors. Okay. Now, I don't say it over the years, many times over the years. That's the Republican Party. Again, you have to look at the Republican Party, all these parties really. You got to look at them from what they do more so than what they say. You got this young Republican Party saying that they're sorry and it's inexcusable, it's not what we represent. And basically, we got to say that. Why? Because they spent so much time getting that 20% or close to 20%, they believe, of black people to be able to vote for them. Even the black Republicans came out and said something too, their group. But they did all this to try and to bring them into the party, so that they can hide this racist part, so that we can bring those people in. And don't ever offer them anything. Just give them the sense like you're next to power, so that should be enough. Right? But never promote them worth a damn. As you can see, Byron Donalds, why didn't he get a position? He's out there kissing much ass during the running up for president. Out there kissing Donald Trump's. I mean, he was licking the back of his neck at this point. You know what I'm saying? He was just all up on him. Then you had what's his name? The other black guy that looked like the character from fucking Fat Albert, Tim Scott. I believe it. I call him Gummy, the Gummy dude. Oh, I loves me some Trump. Oh, step and fetch it. Yeah, him. He was tap dancing every time. I believe there was 3 billion. I believe so too. That's what I saw. Then they have Jerome, the head of the finances and stuff like that, to say, no, that looks at it and said, no, that's a third billionaire. You guys got a third billionaire. That building was built 5 years ago. I don't know why y'all got it. Well, that's a part of the whole thing. Nope, that's been done 5 years ago. So he made both of them look like fools just like that in a split fucking second. Two idiots. The president or running for whatever president and his side boy, not sidekick, side boy. Because that's what he was like. Yes, boy, yes, boss. I believe you're right. And what happens once he won? He set your ass in the background somewhere. When they take pictures, your ass is over there washing their feet. Ain't doing shit for Tim Scott. You ain't seen that fool do nothing as long as he kissed ass, Byron Donalds kissed ass, and now they sitting on the curb letting the white people run it while they sit their black ass down. You were done with. Your job was to get black people food that they wanted something. You went out there and did your job. Now they ain't going to need you again until they need more black people. Then they're going to taunt your ass out, make you tap dance, then sit your ass back in the background. They do it every fucking time. You never see in the Republican Party, you never see black people doing anything worth a damn. They'll pass one little bill that they done cleaned on from the Democrats. They didn't create it. Democrats created it. Tim Scott will join in on it. They'll end up passing it through Trump just to get him some kind of, oh, look what I did for the black people. And then all of a sudden disappear and don't do shit else for black people for the next 2-3 years. And the shit they did was nothing to begin with. It's always dealing with crime. You ever realize that? I want the people who follow me in all different races, colors, and creeds. Whenever Republicans come up with a bill or something to do for black people, it is always about crime. Everybody does something for black colleges. Every president. George Bush, Donald Trump's done stuff. Biden's done more than all of them, to be honest. We had Obama do stuff as well. Give a lot of money. Way more than Donald Trump ever did. And that's it. Do you want to know how much or what percentage of crime that is for every race? But we're only going to talk about black and white, because that's the one that's the biggest, like pull against society. Less than 4% of black people, the entire population of black people, will ever commit a crime. Less than 4% of us will ever commit a crime. Less than 4% of white people will ever commit a crime. Which means when they do something for crime in this country for black people, because that's why we passed that bill for that crime act. I said it wasn't just for us, it helped white people too. Well, black people came up with it, so we cared about our prisoners more than white people did. So whoop-de-doo. But that's 4% of our population. What the fuck you do for 96% of us? Not a damn thing. They create bills and laws for their 96% white, but they don't create shit, Republicans, for the black people, for the brown people, nothing. Their bills are always taken away. And when they take away from us, they harm poor white people. It gets all the way up to middle class, but the upper middle class and rich never get affected. And that's their point. To hurt as many black people and as few white people as they can with everything they pull off. Don't believe me? Look it up. They've been doing this forever. Lee Ritenour. I think it's Ritenour. What's his name? Oh, is it Lee? I'm trying to think of his last name. I think it's Ritenour, but it may be a different last name because I'm thinking of somebody else's name. It's got to be somebody else. It's Lee something else. Let me see. No, Ritenour is the jazz artist. Oh, I'll just do it this way. You'll know who I'm talking about in a second. Lee Atwater. There you go. Lee Atwater. Thank you, DJ. You got the written out. I'm thinking about music. Lee Atwater came up with that Southern strategy. Remember when he said that we're going to, back in the day, if you didn't hear this, you can go look it up because it's recorded. He didn't think that it was going to be ever played, but it was an audio tape. He said, you're not going to publish this. No, it's off the record. And they were still recording. And his exact kind of like wording, not word verbatim, was that, see, back in the 60s and 50s and 60s, we were able to say, just to get the people to elect them or whatever, they can go out and talk to their constituents and say the N-word, N-word, N-word. And it ended with with the ER on the end of it. You can go out there and say, that. And that would get people riled up enough to vote against whatever that benefited black people, that destroyed them. We can go out and say that. He said, but then we had to come up with other things to say when we couldn't say N-word, N-word, N-word anymore. So we started saying busing. So to white people, busing automatically meant N-word, N-word, N-word. This ain't me. This is the Southern strategy. This is stuff that white people came up with. Republicans came up with. And now we got these young Republicans doing the same thing that Lee Atwater did back in the day for Reagan. Reagan called us monkeys. Nixon said it's a wonder how we can still walk in shoes. He repeated what Reagan said. All these people have been racist. These people, they've been like, oh, I love Reagan. Reagan was a racist. Nixon was a racist. These Republicans have been racist as fuck. Oh, he would never allow that. That's bullshit. Not only did he allow it, he said it. So after Reagan, there was another group of fucking Republicans that was just like them. It didn't disappear. Ask yourself, if Reagan was a racist and now we got these young Republicans doing the same shit, when did it leave? Tell me what generation did this racism leave? Because these young Republicans are from 18 to 40. They're not babies. When did it leave? That's my question. Because we've been telling the world that it's gone. Don't see it. But if Reagan was racist, and we don't came all the way down now to these Republicans here, and they're racist, when did it leave? Tell me what decade. From the 60s to now, when did it die? Because if it died, you should be able to point to when it died. But you can't, because it never did. It's always been alive and well, and black people have been telling you that. Now it's in your face. You see these young Republicans say what they're saying? Talking about I love Hitler. They don't like Jews. Jews will not replace us. They hate Jews. They talked about rape on their particular that text too, and said rape was epic. So they thought as rape as being a good thing. This is the same party that had a representative in one of their house in one state. I don't want to say it was Minnesota or whatever. The guy said that if a girl gets raped, she's 12, 13 years old, whatever. He called it them ripe and fertile. That's the ripe and fertile age. He said this shit. That they should get a choice not to have an abortion, but to marry their rapist. After all, it's the father. And nobody flipped the fuck out. The audience was like, but his representatives, not a word. This man was allowed to continue his conversation after calling 12, 13, 14-year-old kids who get raped fertile, ripe and fertile. Like they were fucking fruit. This is what they think about women. This is what they think about black people. This is what they think about Latin people. They think about anybody other than a white male. They think of them like this. And how long is it going to take you to realize they're saying it in your face and you're still acting like it's not there? At some point in time, your denial is complacency. You literally want to be racist, but you just can't have the balls like they do. So you want to, nah, it's not me. Because at some point, if you don't condemn this shit, you're a part of this shit. It can't be that I recognize it and I'm some kind of prophetic, like me and Jesus, like cousins. Like me and Jesus are both seeing some shit that y'all can't see. That ain't true. You see it. You ignore it because it doesn't apply to you just yet. But when it applies to you, that's when you want to act. Don't believe me? Look what's happening to these farmers. They want to act now. But I want to know, honestly, people, how stupid do you think we are? Y'all making black people out to be geniuses, like every last fucking one of us, and we're not geniuses. That leads you to know that if we're not geniuses, it just means you dumb as fuck if you can't see it. We're not geniuses. It's very simple to see. It's not hard. When a person tells you that a group of people are basically worthless, you should say, I got people, friends of mine who are worth everything in the world that are Latin, that are Asian. I don't know what this man is talking about. You can't just demonize the entire race. They're not all criminals. Which brings me to Joe Rogan. Joe, I know you're not the smartest tool in the box. I know that. Everybody else should know that. I remember you from back in the day. You don't know, I met you one time. This is when you was doing that show, what is it called? Fear Factor. Yeah, you was doing Fear Factor. You're not the smartest tool in the shed. I know this. But you've gained power over the years through this white supremacy shit. If you was black, you wouldn't have a job. Because you didn't make it to be a comic. You aren't funny. And you was pissed off that a Latin man was more funny than you, that you got on stage and started talking shit about a Latin man stealing jokes when you know every comedian steals jokes. But you couldn't stand the fact that a Latin man got a TV show, while your white ass could not get one because you weren't funny, Joe Rogan. And you know this. You made money as a comic and you still can't really claim to be one because you ain't never made no special worth the fuck that anybody wanted to see. So being a loser comic that has a bunch of successful comic friends, and you sat here and went on with this Republican line of, oh yeah, we should get rid of these Republicans, we should get rid of these Latin people and these people, blah, 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 blah. And you had history of trying to get rid of a Latin person. Carlos Mencia. That was a Latin person you tried to get rid of. You never gave us one joke he stole. You just said he stole it. And that started to take his career down. You got excited about that. Your career never took off as a comedian. You got on some little whack ass show on NBC and got fame, just like Donald Trump, fame from reality shows. Not one joke was told on those reality shows because you're a comedian first, right? Now I give you credit, you made your success. But please don't forget, you tried to pull down a Latin person for stealing a joke when you know, I got comedian friends. Every comic steals jokes. If you don't know that now, you just learned it. Richard Pryor stole jokes. Red Fox stole jokes. Every comedian has stole jokes. Robin Williams stole jokes. Every comedian did. That's how they got their start. That's how they got known, because they would do a routine of somebody else's shit. There's rarely any comic that did not steal somebody else's joke. But Joe Rogan had to go out on stage and try to punk Carlos Mencia. This was years ago, if you remember, just so that he can pull himself up, even though Joe Rogan's stolen jokes. You can't tell me a mediocre comic never stole a joke, that being Joe Rogan. But he was all, oh, I didn't do it. Well, yeah, right. You have. Almost every comic has. Even Dave Chappelle has stolen jokes. It's a part of the coming up. And a lot of times what they call stolen is having an influence. Like you guys talking about the same topic, but it kind of starts one way and ends a little different way. You still stole it because nobody was talking that way. Bullshit. We're human beings. But other people have always said people have stolen jokes. But Dave Chappelle, my bad, Dave Chappelle. But Joe Rogan got up and tried to destroy the life of a Latin man's career because he didn't like that man. That man got a show, a comedy show like Dave Chappelle's show, and Joe Rogan got a show about eating gross shit. That's what he got. He ended up blowing up doing this stuff, but again, talking on podcasts, not something where somebody hired him or anything like that. He flattened out. He bottomed out. He had to create another lane for himself because nobody wanted to see him act. And all he did was go to what? MMA, get his ears all cauliflowered out or whatever. That's all he went to. Again, all that for what? You went out and said what? That we should be able to get criminals who are, immigrants, illegals out of the country without doing all this horrible stuff to people. I didn't see that. That's because you're not bright, Joe Rogan. Because I would love to ask the question, Joe, how in the hell did you see it happening? Because as it were, the way we've always done it, under Obama, who literally got more millions of immigrants, illegal immigrants or immigrants who weren't here legally, whatever you want to call it, out of the country. Millions. How did he do it? The legal way. Went through the court system. He didn't snatch them off the street, did he? No, he didn't. He didn't send military on American soil to treat us like we're actually criminals and enemies of the country because we know somebody who's an immigrant. No, they went through the whole process of being able to do their due diligence and find where these people are, right? And then take them out of the country legally. And millions were gone. Donald Trump, his first time, did the exact same shit of putting people in, well, he threw people in jail in America, not overseas, in America, separated them for their kids. Horrific shit. And you saw how many people did not have, there to this day, there's over 1,500, excuse me, 1,500 babies who probably grown now that did not see their mom ever again. Where was your uproar about that, Joe Rogan? Then you decided to bring this little orange dipshit onto your show and support him because when COVID went down, you had a flip. I mean, let me give you a hot second. That's how frustrated I am. Joe Rogan can't even spell COVID-19. And he out here trying to tell people what the fuck to do with it. He's out here talking about, you know, these learned scientists don't know what they're talking about. But Joe Rogan, Mr. I couldn't make it in TV, so I started a podcast. I had a show about eating strange things. That dude's gonna sit here and tell you to take horse medicine and shit to get rid of COVID. And I didn't need to have to take that. And the thing that trips me out, Donald Trump is still taking the COVID vaccine to this fucking day. He didn't even believe in the bullshit he was pushing. That's what trips me out. Joe Rogan is sitting here still talking about vaccine is not something we should have to take. It should have never happened. And the person who brought all that bullshit and lies to them just went to Walter Reed and got a COVID fucking shot. It's a damn shame. You can't even see that the dude pulled the wool over your eyes while telling you it's not good for you. He's always taking it. Donald Trump took the experimental shit that wasn't even finished yet. He got his vaccine before COVID was even released to the masses. It wasn't even finished yet for the masses. He took it then. And then came out and told y'all, well, I don't know if y'all should take it or not. Because you dumbass people wanted to pretend like you was Dr. Fauci Jr. or Senior, like he was the junior, like you knew better. You don't know jack shit about science. Dr. Fauci's a fucking hero, and you guys are a bunch of dipshits trying to play like you're intelligent. Joe Rogan out here talking about, I didn't know it was going to happen this way. Explain to us how you thought it was going to happen, Joe. Huh? You thought it was going to go up to people and say, are you an immigrant? Yeah. Okay. Come with me. How do you think it was going to happen? You didn't think it was going to pull over just every Latin and ask them for their own ID to see if they were American? Did you think that was going to happen? How did you think this shit was going to go down, Joe? How couldn't you foresee this? I think you saw it. You just didn't know how it would look once the cameras caught it. But if this shit was going down with no cameras around, you wouldn't be saying shit. He said, breathe, Drew, breathe. Thank you, Billy Loco. You wouldn't be saying shit, Joe. Nothing. I get tired of these whack-ass people that act like they're intelligent about something, but never know. Bring on people on the show that are whack jobs. No degree worth a damn in what they're saying. Just saying it. Just to validate your own feelings. If you had to justify the people who come onto your show and do some research, you wouldn't be able to understand it. So you have to believe whatever they tell you, as long as it's against what you think you're against. You were against Dr. Fauci, so you brought on a bunch of dipshits that didn't like Dr. Fauci. Without asking them, what have you saved? Who have you saved? When AIDS was around and killing people, where were you? Oh, you were nowhere. Well, Dr. Fauci was saving lives. While you were doing what? Hookers or something like that, right? Right, Joe Rogan? He was snorting shit off tables, and he was saving lives. Fucking hypocrites, man. Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand. I went off on Joe Rogan. Fuck Joe Rogan. All right. So J.D. Vance had something to say today. He had his 2 cents to say about these young Republicans. And you know what's so trip, y'all? I don't know if you can go check it. Maybe it was something going down on my end. But I went and checked today. I tried to get J.D. Vance, this video I got right here. I had to go get it off of CNN because the clean footage of him saying this, everywhere I looked at it, it was either taken down or when I brought it up, for some reason, I don't care whose feed it was. I got it from some of the liberal podcasters, and they'll have it. Their feed, it would not show it. It would say this video would not load. And I was like, why won't it load? And then I went to somebody else's page, YouTube channel who had it. It wouldn't load. And I was like, this is crazy. Why won't it load? And I said, maybe it's me. So I went up to a few other, I opened up just videos that had nothing to do with J.D. Vance at all. I opened them up, started right away. So everything that had to deal with J.D. Vance's statement today, that he was, I think he was on like one of the far right wing, I think it's, what's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, whatever. It's, what is it called? Real American Voice or something like that. It was on there because that's where it came from. This is right-wing situation. I don't know if he put like a copyright issue on it or something like that so that it started falling down on everybody's site. It would not load. Then I finally found it on CNN where it loaded. So it may have been just YouTube had an outage today. Okay, cool. Because I was looking for it, and again, it was just those videos. I opened up like 6 or 10 of those bitches, and I could not open one. Finally, CNN, they loaded one up like recently. Like before I went on air, it was just like on there for like 7 minutes or some shit. And I got it. Wow. So you're going to be able to see it. You may have already seen it earlier today live, but I didn't see it until a little clip of it, and then I finally got it. So let's hear what J.D. Vance had to say about the young Republicans being racist as fuck.
The reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do. And I really...
Stop. Hammer time. No, I was kidding. I want to say that. But that right there, insane. That's what kids do. Do you understand the Young Republicans has a name, Young Republicans, but you have to be a dipshit to think that they're kids. The youngest of them will be 18, ranging up to 40. The ones who said a lot of this egregious shit, the names, they're grown. They're not 18. They're over 18. One of them has an office at the SBA right now, Small Business Association, and that's where they give loans to small businesses and black people. He's in a situation of not getting you a loan, denying you a government loan, because you can get a $50,000 loan going through some courses and things like that to start your business through the Small Business Association, the SBA, right? They got this racist who said the N-word over and over again in that department. I would like to say that news organizations, you need to go check and see how many of these loans have not been given to black people. Because you can't have somebody in there that says the N-word over and over again, And there's text of 2,900 transactions of these things. And this man has said it over and over again. You can't tell me that dude working for the SBA is literally saying yay to black people. So something needs to be done with that guy, fired or something. And also these contracts and things like that the SBA deal with. If he's ahead of any of that, you got to overlook his books, because I can guarantee you anybody of color was pushed to the back of the line, and a bunch of white people that didn't deserve it, along with people who did, got in. And that's their motive. Why do I say this? Pete Hegseth, idiot. How the hell is he the head of anything? Right? Pam Bondi, she looked like her brain does not connect with her eyes. Her eyes all over the place, and it's just got like, it's just fidgety. This chick, the shit that she says makes no sense. She had canned ideas. Let me see. You are White House. Let's see. The W's. White House. Yeah, you took some money from the APAC or something, right? This is a lawyer, a person who's the head of the top cop, and this woman can't come off the top of the dome and say some shit. She had a hit list of shit that people supposedly did, and even what she wrote wasn't even facts. She said, check me if I'm wrong. These people call themselves like merit. Merit does not mean the same thing. They revised that word. Merit just means if you're white and can still breathe on your own. That's it. It has shit to do whether you know the job. Pete Hegseth, this dude was a reporter, not even great at his fucking job. He worked on the weekend, was drunk most of the time, and having sex with employees, and got pregnant with an employee pregnant while he was still married. These degenerate pieces of shit somehow getting positions. I know there are good white men that should have had a shot at this. Good Latin, black, Asian men who should have had a shot at this. But no. Sycophant white men who have been accused of abusing women, sexual assault, alcoholism, cheating on his wife. I thought you guys were a party of family. Nope. A party of rapists, a party of unalivers, a party of racists, xenophobic. That's what your party is. Where is there a party of any kind of morality? You got Pam Bondi starting up, trying to put people in jail for crimes they didn't commit. You got learned, highly educated prosecutors saying there's nothing here to charge. And you fire them or tell them to get out of the way so you can bring a dipshit in that is a insurance lawyer. Have her come in to do what? Get people charged for crimes that no other prosecutor would have ever brought up. And because you got Republican judges in your back pocket, all the way up to the Supreme Court, it really doesn't matter if anybody broke the law. Those sycophants will just automatically say, oh, you're guilty. Even though if it's a trial, I would not put it past them. Once the people say you're let go, whatever, I don't have no problem with the Supreme Court overturning it and giving them 12 years in prison just because they want to. I would hope this wouldn't be the case, but over and over again, the Supreme Court is taking on cases they shouldn't be taking up. Like they're taking up cases right now about the Civil Acts voting right, the Voting Rights Act. Why are you talking about the Voting Rights Act at all? They're literally trying to say that white people are being racist against when they're in a community where 80% are black, that you can redistrict or redline this area so that white people can be empowered over black communities, majority black communities. Because you put white communities right next to them, and therefore you rule over the black community. They have no representation for their own people. So they got to wait on racist white people to determine their life. That right there, we don't need it anymore. Why don't we need it anymore? Racism in this country is showing itself stronger, not weaker. So how is it that what we designed it for was against racism, and racism stronger now than it was ever before? So if anything, it should get stronger, meaning the Civil Rights Act. It should increase to get more representation of people of color than less, because you're more racist now. It's just behind the scenes, and right now we're seeing it out in the open. This man has literally tried to denounce J.D. Vance racist to be kids saying shit.
Really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives. We're not canceling kids because they do something stupid in a group chat. And if I have to be the person who carries that message forward, I'm fine with it. And by the way, if they were left-wing kids telling stupid left-wing jokes, I would also not want their lives to be ruined because they're saying something stupid in a private group chat.
Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to call bullshit on that one. I mean, bullshit. Okay. First off, he talks about, well, kids just saying jokes. Where was the joke? Talking about you ready for people to burn. Where's that? Where's the joke in that? I don't see any. Joke is a setup and a punchline. For the most part. Setup and a punchline. Where's the setup? Where's the punchline? The setup is I hate, N-words. Punchline is can't wait for them to burn. That is a setup and a punchline. Instead of condemning this outright and saying nobody should be talking like this in our party, they know these are the people that look up to them, and the reason why they're doing this is because you guys don't have a problem with it. You've been breeding these people. These people who are in the party, who are the next group of Republicans that's going to be taking over after you guys leave, look up to you. You have spoken to these Republicans before. You know these Republicans, JD. These people are the people that you guys validate and have been validating. You're the ones who put money behind these people getting offices, getting in their particular cities and states. These are the people that you want all around the country getting positions, because they will follow whatever the hell you tell them to follow like weird sycophants. And you can't afford to lose them because you done bred them to be this way. You gave them free reign to speak like this. And they spoke like this freely. Over 2,900 texts. And throughout it, if this ever gets out, we in trouble. They knew they were going to be in trouble. And once they get in trouble, you tell them it's okay. You're just kids. Really? How old is J.D. Vance? He'll be 41. So the young Republicans, there are 40-year-olds in this particular young Republicans. They're the ones who are going to come out soon and start leading a lot of places. They have positions, some of them, in government already, because J.D. Vance and others like them have put money behind them to groom them to be where they are. You get to this position because they groomed you to be this position, and you are the person you are because they groomed you to be so. So you are going to cover for these people because what? Because you're the same as them. And you, when J.D. Vance talks about they should be able to say whatever they want to say, and all this other shit, and that, don't punish them forever for some little thing they said. He literally said that these are kids and they shouldn't be punished for what they did or said. Then he had to justify it, said, if it was Democrats, I feel the same way. Well, J.D. Vance, you deported Democrats for literally saying the opposite or doing some shit like this. You said that when there were immigrants who were here legally, right? During the protests at the college, who were pro-Palestine, pro-Palestinians. You guys called them terrorists for their words. They didn't say nothing anti-Semitic. They didn't say nothing racist. They literally said that they deserve to be treated fairly, and they set out and protested, the most American thing to do. And you guys were pissed off that they confronted, when confronted, if you look at some of this content that came out, there were this one big, cocky, muscular, kind of tall, I guess, Jewish guy walks by and spits on a Palestinian. That Palestinian then cussed him out. Then the other Palestinian, the Jewish person, then tried to get up in his face to fight him. He looked like he was probably an MMA fighter. That was in the news for a little speck of a time. And that was highly racist of the Jewish person. I didn't see you go get that Jewish person and kick him out of the country because he was acting that way and say, even though you here, you from Israel, you might want to take your ass back home being so racist toward Palestinians. You didn't arrest him. You didn't try to kick him out of the country for doing something as racist as that Jewish person did. Instead, you want to kick out the person who organized the peaceful protest in which they were attacked by Jewish people. Yeah, racist Jewish people and some white. But you want to kick out the people who started a protest. They didn't say burn Jews. They didn't say, it's tripped out how you got Palestinians that you arrested, treated like shit for saying that Palestinians need to be treated fairly and that Israel is being the terrorists and not Palestinians. You said that was anti-Semitic, even though Palestinians and Jewish people are both Semitic. So if you are against Palestinians just because they're Palestinians, you're anti-Semitic. If you're anti-Jewish, you're anti-Semitic. So the idea, the unmitigated gall of J.D. Vance and the likes of him talking about Palestinians being anti-Semitic when Palestinians are Semitic and you're being anti-Semitic going against them just because they want to exist without terror. You're being anti-Semitic, but you don't do that. Why? Because you don't justify, or you don't, how would I say this? You don't validate them being Semitic. They're people who are of color to you. So their anti-Semitic aspect of treating them, if a Jewish person treats Muslims a certain way and they don't like them because they're Muslim, they're anti-Semitic, right? Of course they are. But you only use the white-looking people, which are the Jewish, to say, if you go against them, it's anti-Semitic. Well, no. There are groups of Semitic people, and many of them are brown. But just like this country being racist as fuck, you side with the Semites who look white, who are the colonizers of Palestine. Don't believe me. There's a full-on fucking documentary of the Swedish people that just came out, 2025, I think it is. It's something like Israel to Palestine, Swedish TV from 1958 to 1984, 85 or something like that. Look that shit up. If you can find it, maybe you'll be able to buy it right now. I don't know for sure, but look that shit up. It's 3 hours and like 5 minutes or some shit like that, showing you exactly from 1948 how they covered it in the news, actual footage of how Israel fucked over Palestine. You can't deny facts. Footage caught on the news. You can't deny that shit. It's out there. But when he talks about being, basically, I would not hold it against these racist white boys and girls to mess up their life. You have no problem destroying Palestinian lives. You have no problem just for going against what these groups are doing to their people, just for fighting in the country in which they have rights, in which they're here legally. You guys want to abandon the law of allowing them in this country for education because they speak against you killing their people unjustly. And that's anti-Semitic because it's Jewish people doing it. So this man literally got out here trying to support white supremacy, but at the same time wants to deport people who are brown because they're not down with the lies. You either support white supremacy, either when it's supporting Jewish people or supporting white people, but when you support things that should be fair to brown people, all of a sudden you got to get out of the country. You ain't gonna speak about our country like that. That's exactly what happened. You can go look at this footage all day, every day, and you'll find out that every time in this country, when a group of white people, most of these racists, decide that they don't want to know, don't want to take it no more. They don't want to feel like they're a second-class citizen in a country where they should always feel first class, even if they're a dumbass. They want to feel first class no matter what. And it's like, you told Americans, not just white people, to pick yourselves up by your bootstraps. And because you sat down and put your bootstraps on the curb or on the porch and decided to just ride it all barefoot, and everybody else put their boots on and went out there and made some of themselves, now the dumber class of white people want to sit here and be like, well, we should have. No, you told them to put their boots on and their straps, and with a little bit of nothing, everything against them, somehow they passed you. Oh, what's wrong? You should have never took your foot off the gas. You literally had hundreds of years of opportunity to be ahead. You took your foot off, and now you're pissed off at people who put their bootstraps on and pulled them up. Or better yet, put their boots on and pulled their straps up. They did exactly what you asked. It was your culture that decided to stop pulling your boots and putting your boots on. You're barefooting it. This is not all white people. This is the racist white men who feel aggrieved by some reason. You guys have had it easy in this country. Even if when you had it hard, you've had it easy. For every poor white person trying to get through, there's many black people in the same situation that you're in. Same. And they don't have any privilege of being white. So there's no excuse. The only thing you should be paying attention to is, regardless of race and color and creed, we should look at the opportunities. Because while the rich people want us fighting this culture war, this race war, it's really a class war. Everything you get mad about is because rich people throw something into the fire and piss you off about one of the other people, and you're not looking at the fact that you can barely feed yourself, and we can barely feed ourselves. And it's the rich people that are charging us a fucking arm and a leg for a piece of whatever. For gas, for food. They're charging us an arm and a leg. And we're mad at each other because they know that primally you hate other races more than you care about money. You hate more than you care about lifting yourself. So they know if I throw in some hate, some division into the recipe, you're going to cook it. And you're going to eat all that racism up. Because you think as much as you kick them out of the country, more money will come to you. It's not going to come to you. But that's what you're being fed. You don't realize if you kick other people out of the country, you become poorer. Why? Because they're going to get rid of the jobs that you have and put you in the positions which you didn't believe that these people left. There's going to be a lot of white people farming if they don't bring these people back. Not because you want to, but because they destroy the economy so much that the dollar falls, that's the only job you're going to be able to get to feed your family. Keep playing with these racist Republicans and thinking that they give a damn about you. They care about money and power. As you can see, they're throwing MAGA people to the side of the road if you don't do what they tell them to do. They're kicking them off the fucking block. You thought it was just going to be black and brown and that's it. No, MAGA is being hurt by the same guy they put into place. Farmers, business owners, everything, citizens. Your food costs more because you elected the dipshit. Your gas costs more in some states. Some others kind of like mid because you elected a dipshit. Tariffs on products and shit because you elected a dipshit. And when is it going to get better? They told you it's going to get worse before it get better. You just didn't know how worse it was going to get. And they keep on telling you that so that you can just ride it out. Think that's not going to be bad. He's got our best interests at heart. He really doesn't. Donald Trump has never had anybody's best interests at heart but his own. And I don't know when you're going to believe that, but you keep looking at him because he's white, that he thinks you got the white people behind him. He does, but only white people who can pay him. If you ain't got no money, you just as much as an N-word to him. Don't believe it. When's the last time he helped somebody, poor white person? When's that happened? Donald Trump is surrounded by, you said that we had a swamp. He's made this shit the swampiest swamp ever. Ain't number of rich people in power. He ain't brought no dude from middle of nowhere that just want to fight for American rights and be a patriot. No, he elected people or brought in people who all have money. Scott Bessent, rich as fuck. Wall Street dude. When does Wall Street give a fuck about Main Street? Never. But we got Wall Street doing shit for Main Street, knowing that he's selling us out. So either you get tired of being put into this divisive chamber and decide unite for American shit, but you really got to find out what do you consider American now, because they have muddied the waters on what is American, on what is patriotic. The factory default for all of us as far as being American and patriotic is thinking like America. What can we do for America? What can we do for the citizens? It's always a tragedy that brings us together. It's crazy how when a tragedy happens, somehow we know how to be unified. When another country brings on a tragedy, we know how to be unified. But within the country, when Donald Trump is bringing all kinds of terror to this country, we don't know how to unify. Donald Trump is no different than the people who blew up the towers, 911. He's no different. He's just somebody from the inside blowing up shit, as opposed to someone we can call an enemy. And he's got so many racist people in this country that believe that turning this country back into a white country where everybody else gets treated like a second-class citizen and where white people get lifted just because they're white. That right there is promising to a lot of white people. That's why they're justifying it. That's why you got JD sitting here justifying racists, outward racists, instead of getting rid of them and saying we don't believe in that. That's not the America we want to have. I thought we want a racist country. We had the vice president, the second most powerful man in the world, that literally did not denounce, literally told us to forgive racist white people for talking that way. I don't know about y'all, but if you can talk like that at any given moment in your life, you're not changing. You are what you are. Why would you change unless something catastrophic happened? Nothing catastrophic happened to them. People got fired. They had the one party, the head of the party, whatever, the chair people say, oh, it's a bad thing. But really, what did they do to them? This is a media, like frenzy type of thing. Literally do something, wag the dog type of shit. Do something to get people to think that we cared about it and anything like that. But then all of a sudden, weeks go by when it's no longer in the news, these racists will get jobs again. Because that's what they were raised, that's what they were elected for. That's why they were sought after, is that they have this gear of hatred. Because that's what Donald Trump's brand is. Hatred is what got him where he's at. All these people that are empowered now through Donald Trump, hatred is what brought them there. Do you really think that you can go and blow up Venezuelan boats just for the fuck of it and have love in your heart? Do you really think that? Love of what? They're not coming to America. They're nowhere near America. So you're not caring about America. You're hating something. And you can't tell me you're just hating that they're bringing drugs to this country. When on the border, there are rich white people bringing in drugs every fucking month. Yeah, don't get it twisted. This country is filled with drugs, not because there's a black gang that's getting some every once in a while. No, it's because there's rich kingpins who are white in this country that pay off the government and allow that shit to come in. At the same time, try to point you toward people of color like it's a bad thing over here. Look at this person. Look at this person. The cartel is bad. Well, who are they selling to, bro? Because you can't tell me that you can't find who's taking it into this country. Just follow the money. But you don't follow the money because it's going to lead to somebody like a Donald Trump. It's going to lead to somebody like a Jeffrey Epstein. It's going to lead to somebody who's a billionaire, because you can't be bringing in all these drugs and not be one of the richest people in this fucking country. Look for people that you've never known in your life driving around in Lamborghinis and $1 million cars and shit, and you ask them what they do and they don't want to tell you. Those are the people that are bringing in all these drugs. There is no big time drug dealer that's bringing all these drugs sitting around driving a hoopty or living in the hood. They're the ones who have $20, $30 million homes and you don't understand what the fuck they do for a living. Like Jeffrey Epstein. They're the ones that the law looks past. Like Jeffrey Epstein. Like Donald Trump. Like his sons. The people doing the most crime in this country are those people. And the people whom they get to do their dirty work are the poor people. You ever wonder why when they find these drugs that are like so many tons of drugs, you never find the person who was actually bringing it into the country? You may find the driver, a couple people, but after all these years, you never see the kingpin. Decades upon decades, you've yet to see one white person who owns yachts all over the place being pulled over and saying, hey, we found out that you were the drug dealer the whole time. You haven't seen it in America. And that's insane. That's highly insane. It's unreasonable. It's unfathomable. In this country, everybody gets charged for doing shit. It's only rich white people that do not. Or they're rarely caught. Which brings to mind, we rarely catch the people who are bringing the drugs into this country, except for the people who are transporting it. Just saying, it's something to think about. Something to think about. Oh, yeah, he says, am I going to heaven and hell? He's like, I can never make it to heaven. I see you, Vicky. He said, I'll never make it to heaven. That should have told something to these Republicans. He said he never prayed. He never asked God for anything. He never said he was sorry for anything. I'm like, come on, y'all. That is not a Christian. That is not a Christian whatsoever. Oh, Randall, also happy he didn't get it either. The Nobel Peace Prize. But here's the thing. I was like, somebody brought it up and said, hold on, wait. The woman who won it, not girl, but the woman who won it, said, she was offering it up to Trump, stuff like that, like saying like he deserves it. And I'm like, I understand why she's doing it, because she figures like Donald Trump is going to be like the only person that would really try and take out Maduro, and therefore in their that dictatorship, and therefore, help her either get elected or whatever in some kind of office, whatever. I get it. But here's my thing. Is that, if I was put in that situation, would I do that? And I can't say that I wouldn't if I'm trying to save my people or whatever. I get that part. It just sucks on the other end of the spectrum is that this man has literally stolen Venezuelans from their home without due process and sent them and put them in jails that they didn't deserve to be in. for fucking months at a time. They were, some of them tortured, some of them raped, and we can say it on YouTube. And you're sitting here like, he deserves it? How did he deserve it that he sent people who look like you? People who pray like you, people who sound like you. He sent them to prisons when they did no crime, just merely on the fact that they were Venezuelan. He hates your people. And you like, he deserves it. Why? Why would he deserve that? And here's the point, y'all. Here's the point. Donald Trump didn't do shit in 2024. This is for the year 2024, not 2025. The previous year. So you're trying to tell me Donald Trump was not the president in 2024. He did absolutely nothing for nobody. He's going around touting that he did this. I saved wars and I said I need a Nobel Peace Prize. How would he get a Nobel Peace Prize for the previous year when he wasn't a president? He was running for president. He did absolutely nothing. 2026, you can say, oh yeah, well, he helped release Israelis, whatever the hell. That's 2026. Just the mere fact that we was on this campaign of trying to get Donald Trump something for a year prior, before he became into office. How are you getting elected for something you never did anything in 2024? And she coming out and saying he deserves it for what? He didn't do anything in 2024. Again, I'm just sick of liars, man. I'm sick of people trying to get shit for nothing. I'm like, just doing shit. Something's got to happen. At some point, we got to get back to integrity. We got to get back to you earn what you get. I'm tired of this participation trophy bullshit country right now. Everything. I remember when I grew up, I literally had to work my ass off to get an award. I literally had to earn it. I don't care if it was getting a star when I was a kid in fucking kindergarten all the way up to whatever, 3rd or 4th grade. I had to earn that fucking star. I didn't get it just because I was next to another person. I got it because I bust my ass. This country is so participatory. Oh, you got one too. For what? They sat on the bench picking boogers the entire fucking year of playing basketball or football. They never got into the fucking game. They never came to practice. Why the fuck do they deserve something? They don't. And this is Donald Trump trying to get something. He didn't do nothing. How the hell a 78-year-old man, 79, is going to get a participation trophy for shit where people literally die to get something like this? They've gotten it posthumously because what they did in their life was save lives, some way, shape, or form. And this dude did absolutely nothing but whine that he wanted something and had a bunch of sycophants trying to get it for him. He did nothing. It's just insane, y'all. This participation trophy shit has got to go. Got what he deserved. He had time. He made Time magazine. Yeah, he made Time magazine. I forgot, wasn't that the one that they were just talking? It was really kind of bad of him. Anyway, I'm glad to be back. I'm feeling a lot better. I want to thank you guys for being here. We have got to get back to earning what we do and not just giving it. I know most people that follow me are all about, real merit, actually doing the homework, actually seeking a fact. And when you find the fact, then reporting on that. And also, when you get it wrong, being factual and truthful. Oh, I got it wrong. My bad. There's nothing wrong with get something wrong. There's something wrong with not saying you got it wrong. Because we're going to be human. We're going to mess up some stuff. And that's one thing I always like for me, I'm not one of those people who give you the news like right the fuck away. Because again, a lot of these things come out, like you see on different social media platforms, you'll see that something happened and you'll be like, is this real? I don't know for sure if it's real. And you have to go look at it. And some people have the reflex and boom, they automatically reporting on it. Turns out hour later that this was AI. An hour later, this was, somebody made this shit up and this person's still alive. And, it's just, I'd rather wait a beat, look it up, and then report on it, as opposed to just reporting on it, trying to be first. I want to be more accurate than first. So I've worked in the industry of news many years, and that's what I hated about news and left it. It's because news wanted to be first and not accurate. And then they, again, journalism is a whole different other beast. You can't really share your opinions. You got to do facts and stuff like that, and at least as much as facts as you know it. And I'm cool with that. But the way this country has devolved into, mega lies, just lie, 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 lie until a lie becomes the truth. Oh, I'm not for that, and I get mad at any, that whole process. So you'll hear me cuss out somebody in a heartbeat for lying to me in my face, because it's like the same amount of energy that it takes you less energy just to tell me the truth. You got to make up shit. You got to come up with shit off the top of the dome and make it up to tell a lie. And if somebody tells you something, don't pass it on until you actually researched it. And that goes for me as well. Look it up, then pass it on, because if you look it up, you validate it. You get an understanding that somebody's really trying to be honest with you, as opposed to just trying to, aggravate you or put you on their team just for just putting you on your team's sake. I don't want that shit in my life. I literally want people to hold my feet to the fire, and I hold yours. Iron sharpens iron. We're supposed to be here for each other, to lift one another, and be a part of the people, not me, the people. But me, the people, are the people who just want to get ahead and will fuck over anybody to do it. That's not my style. That's not how I ride. I'm not living the rest of my life, or any part of my life. I've never lived like that, to fuck over somebody to get ahead. That's just not my stilo. So this is why I go off on people. And again, I'm still working on Avid Solutionist. It's going to be fun, y'all. I mean, I got everything. I'm building gear, all this stuff like that, because I really want to be a part of this revolution of ideas, to change the country the way we see it, as opposed to the way it is, to hold people accountable, and also just have another route to go about doing things. I create systems that help via capitalism, but capitalism that cares, and be able to help people in their lives. And once I start to release these different shows, and trying to keep it entertaining, and hopefully get some guests in. My daughter wants to be a part of it, so we'll see if my daughter sticks to that. And yeah, we're just gonna have fun with it. But I'm gonna continue doing this because the truth needs to be told. But at the same time, I'm one of those people, I can bitch and moan about the problems of this country, and I'm good at that and exposing all that. But we also got to work just as hard towards solutions, because if we don't fix it, it's gonna be forever broken. And the reason I'm passionate about it is because it's broken, and I think we need to fix it, and we need to unite around that. Democracy is all we should be caring about. All this other extra stuff, it really doesn't matter unless it's under a democracy. And democracy is under assault, big time. Don't wait till it hits you. Just read and pay attention and see how it's hitting other people. Don't have to put yourself in a position of it being you just yet. See who it's happening to and realize that it can happen to me too. And that should light the fire under your ass to be able to try and change that fire, that wildfire burning down your house. Don't wait till it gets to your home. It's too hard to put out. The fire's too strong at that point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all. I'll see most of y'all tomorrow around the same time, 5:30, 6 p.m. I'm trying to, because I'm working on the other show and putting it together. I want to get in earlier, but I think I'm going to try and move it to like 6 p.m. every night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because that I can possibly make. It's closer depending on the other job until I can do this full time. All right? I'll see you guys tomorrow on the same time. Much love to you. Thanks to my members. I love y'all. I appreciate this way I do what I do. Keep prayers up. Five Alarm Fire. I still think he's still going some things, and DJ as well, and other people in the room. Keep that positive energy for each other. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right? I'll see you tomorrow around the same time. As always, let's see what I got here. Y'all take care. I'll see you when I see you.